What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as Tottenham breezed into the fifth round of the FA Cup at the expense of Brighton at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night. I've had a lot of fun going over the game and reviewing the game. It's been some really good stuff on show last night, but let's get into the player ratings. Let's start off with Hugo Lloris. 7s all round from us, and you know what, first half he barely had a touch of the ball. He really did. Second half, about 10 minutes into the second half, he got called into action where he saved really well from that Bissouma deflected shot. He had a few other nice saves throughout the game. I think 3 nice saves. I remember there was one from Bissouma, there was one late on from Morpie, and there was another one in there. I can't remember who it was, but there was 3 good saves in there, and another good display from Hugo.
Yeah, calm and composed as well. I thought from set pieces, I remember there was one as well when a corner which nearly swung all the way and he had to deal with it. And I thought he was, again, a really good display. He carries on his really good form this season and shows why we gave him a new contract. Especially with sometimes these performances, you know, you don't touch the ball for a long time, but when you're called upon to make a save, you make it. And he did that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move over to Emerson Royal, played at right wing back, 7s all round from us. And I thought, it was better from Emerson. I thought he was pushed really high up the pitch for the majority of the game. He found himself in acres of space for the majority of it. I think his final ball was letting him down once again for the most part. But look, it was a really good display. He was getting up and down the pitch. I thought defensively, he put in a few nice challenges. And obviously, he had a massive hand in the second goal where he put in a cross and it deflected off Solly March and ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, and he dealt with Cucurella really well on that left-hand side, who's been a pretty good left wing-back for Brighton throughout the season. And I thought it was definitely an improved display from Emerson, and you saw the relief in his celebration when scoring that goal, running over to the bench and looking like it was just had a point to prove. And I'm very, very happy for him, and I'm hoping he continues improved performances. I thought on the right-hand side, he had it covered pretty well. So, good display from him.
Yeah, let's move on to Sergio Reguilon. He was on the other side, on the left wing back. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Similar to Emerson, he was pushed really high up the pitch on that left-hand side. He was being aggressive. He was non-stop running. He was getting back as well for his defensive duties. But again, I felt his end product inside the box kind of let him down on the night.
Yeah, I thought he got forward pretty well. He nearly scored in the second half, forced a decent save out of Sanchez. Apart from that, it wasn't really too much of a threat from a goal-scoring standpoint, which, you know, Conte likes from his wing-backs, especially when they're getting in at the back post. But I thought it was constantly an option, constantly an option for Kane or Davis or whoever it is on the left-hand side to feed down the wing. He's constantly getting forward, and I thought it was pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move over to Cuti Romero. 8s all round from us and an absolutely imperious display from Cuti Romero. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, a cut above the rest in terms of the defensive play. So calm and assured in defence. The way he plays it out defence as well. I mean, the stats on show last night from Romero was telling, because the guy was absolutely brilliant, aggressive when he needed to be, calm when he needed to be, so assured, playing out the back as well, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't have a bad word to say about Romero, apart from that one slip that let Morpie in. He was absolutely sensational throughout the game, and you know, just it sets the tone when he puts in such an aggressive challenge into Lamptey, and he was doing it time and time again. He seems to be 2 or 3 steps above in front of anyone on the football pitch, and yeah, it's just great to see it. He was playing last night like he's been in that back line for like 10 years, literally.
Yeah, and if you show him anything on the ball, and he'll come charging for it, and more often than not, he'll win it. As you said, the bit he slipped shows that sometimes he can be his own undoing. But I think more often than not, like 9 times out of 10, he comes in, he wins the ball, he comes in aggressively. And when he does win the ball, he doesn't mindlessly get it away or do an easy pass back to the keeper or anything. He's always looking forward. He's always looking for the progressive pass. He can almost be a trigger or tone setter for when we need to attack, when he quickly passes forward into space and we go off on an attack on quick transitions. He's like very good at that. And I don't think anyone in our back line has the quality that he has from a defensive standpoint, and it was a pleasure to watch yesterday, and I'm so happy to have him back.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Dave. Big Davinson Sanchez, 7s all round from us. I mean, he was putting in some really important challenges yesterday. I thought really good display on the right-hand side of a back three. The way he was moving forward as well with confidence, striding up the pitch to help start the attack. So, yeah, another really good display from Sanchez, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he was mopping up really well out the back with his pace, and the amount of times the ball goes in behind and he's there to make sure that no one's running onto it. Another short display, and as well a bit of confidence, bring the ball forward as well. He definitely seems to be developing that side of his game. He doesn't seem as much anxiety, but as he did before when he's on the ball. Seems to be a lot more composed.
He's more comfortable on the ball now.
Yeah, he does. So that's definitely positive. And if he can develop that, maybe he can finally develop into the defender we want him to be.
Definitely. Let's move on to Ben Davies, who was the left of the back three, 7s all round from us. And, you know, when Davies puts in these performances, when he was putting in these performances early on in the Conte regime, everyone's like, oh, wow, what performance from Davies. But it's become so standard now to put in this level of performance, you know, very calm and composed at the back, brings the ball forward as well to help us start the attacks. And yeah, just another really solid performance from Ben Davies.
Yeah, and a few times, again, he pick and chooses his time to get into the final third. A couple of times he was in the box and looking to help create things. Nearly worked out for us. And I think, again, there was one amazing long pass he played to Kulusevski in the second half as well, from deep, and he's really improving that element of his game. And defensively, pretty spot on. So another really good display from Davies.
Yeah. Let's move on to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. He was given the runaround a little bit by Basuma in the middle of the park when Basuma was really strutting his stuff in the second half. But I thought, all in all, played really well, brought a lot of energy to the team in the middle of the park. He contributed quite well in the attacking sense as well. Obviously, he got the assist for Kane's first goal, and he also was driving into the box on a number of occasions, and he was putting out fires when Brighton were trying to come back at us as well. So, yeah, another good display from Pierre.
Yeah, I thought it was a really strong display from him. And yeah, Basuma did have a very good game, but I thought Højbjerg was up to the challenge for the most part. And he was a really good link from defence to attack. He was a lot of the time driving force from midfield to get the ball forward. And that was really, really good. I think he, as you say, got the assist. And I think he's the one who played Kane in when he missed that chance when he squared it to Son. And I thought, and a lot of people been criticising him, but I think his performances lately have been much improved. So I'm pretty happy with Højbjerg at the moment.
Yeah, completely agree. But let's move over to Harry Winks. 7s all round from us. I mean, he did much of the work. He did kind of unnoticed and without any fuss. I thought he was very important to the team yesterday. Again, I thought Basuma was giving both of our midfielders a bit of a run around early doors in the second half, but I thought he was keeping the ball ticking over. He was playing more deeper of the two central midfielders, and he kind of kept that calm and composed manner throughout the game, really, and another good display from Winky.
Yeah, in a few moments, a bit like Bentancur when he came on, like under pressure, people around him, but able to find a pass to a player into space, and that's sort of very, very crucial. And that's only, and I feel like when Winks is confident, he's very capable of that. But when he's like he was under Jose, like he's very much always looking for the safety first option, always looking back, always looking sideways. But of recently, he's always looking for an option to go forward or option into space when he's about to lose the ball. And I think yesterday showed that again as well. Off the ball, pretty solid, good interceptions, quite a few tackles, partnering Højbjerg really well. So it's good that he came in for skip and another good display.
All right, let's move over to the front line. Let's talk about Lucas Moura. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I think it carried on a bit of a theme of how he's been in the last couple of weeks, where he hasn't really been grabbing his opportunities. I'm not saying he had a bad performance by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he was probably... I would say he was probably our weakest link on the team yesterday, and I think that a lot of the time in the first half you saw the energy and the desire and the link-up play he was doing with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, which was brilliant, but with little end product. And I think that in the second half he was kind of drifting out of the game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a quiet game, I felt, from Lucas. A few times he was able to drive the ball forward, but to no avail. And he, as you say, he was linking up quite well with Kane and Son, but he wasn't really the one getting shots off or putting the through balls to create the chances. He was kind of the link man. And I think he did a decent job, but it was definitely a quieter game for Lucas than than he has done previously.
All right, let's go to Heung-min Son. 8 all round from us, and a very welcome return to the starting lineup to Heung-min Son. And look, it wasn't his best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a very strong performance. He had his hand in the first goal, winning the ball high up the pitch, which he did on a number of occasions, actually. And he had his hand in the third goal as well, with a nice speedy run down the centre of the park, which had shades of that Burnley run. Obviously not as good, but it had shades of that Burnley one. He did get a bit lucky at the end of that run, ricocheting off a couple of defenders. But as you said in the previous video, you know, sometimes you make your own luck, and I think that's exactly what he did. Full of energy, full of desire, full of will for the team. He was a bit rusty in a few occasions where maybe he could have done a bit better, but really good to see Sonny back and back at it.
Definitely, and he definitely adds that bit of pace and guile to our team that we definitely need. And he'll be disappointed a couple of opportunities where Kane puts him, lobs a ball over the top, and he kind of tries to square it to, I think it was Højbjerg, and he didn't quite get it right, and there was another chance. He's an on goal. He could have maybe gone with his left foot. He tries it in step with his right to curl it into the far corner. Didn't quite get it right, but I thought he was a menace throughout the whole first half, especially. Really, really strong. Brighton struggled really hard to deal with him. He was coming short. He was going long. He was in that little half space and allowing space for Regular on the left-hand side and opening up space for Kane as well. As you say, had a hand in the first and third goal as well. And I think that third goal can't be underestimated, how amazing that little run it was to get into the penalty area to cause the chaos and havoc, which ended up in the back of the net. So really strong showing again from Sonny. Again, Conte said he only wanted to give him 70 minutes, and I thought he more than proved his worth with the 70 minutes on the pitch.
Agreed. And the last of the starting 11, our man the match, Harry Kane, 9s all round, 2 goals, an absolutely brilliant display. Everything that was Tottenham were doing good going forward was going through him. He was dropping deep. He was spraying the passes like we know he can. He was holding up the ball brilliantly. That first goal just showed the confidence that's going through Harry Kane right now, because we haven't seen him finish like that this season. And to see him score like that classic Harry Kane finish, rifling into the top corner of the net, was something was beautiful to watch. It really was. And I thought he was just completely at it for the whole game. You know, showed his poaching effort for his third goal, our third goal and his second goal. And you know what? He'll probably be upset that he didn't get his hat-trick as well. So we're missing a chance at the end. But again, Harry Kane, man of the match once again, and really is getting back to his best.
Yeah, and with Salah out of the AFCON at the moment, you could argue he's the form player in the Premier League at the moment. He's playing that good. And everything is going through him. Conte has made him the central hub to all our attacking play, and there was another proof of that yesterday in the display against Brighton. I thought he was just all over the shop in an amazing way. His passing was on point. He was creating things. He was doing little lob through balls to Son and feeding Lucas and feeding the fullbacks as he likes to do switches of play. He's doing that constantly throughout the game. He's doing dribbles. He's winning free kicks. He's holding the ball up.
All action, man.
All action. And then when it goes to goal scoring as well, he's getting the opportunities. He's finding spaces in and around the penalty area, and his finishing is back up to his usual standard. That finish for the first goal was outstanding. Outside of the box, curling it into the far corner. Keeper couldn't get anywhere near it, and that's the Harry Kane we know and love. And that's when you know Kane's getting back to his best, when he's doing instinctual finishes like that. Obviously, the poacher's goal with the third goal was a lot simpler, but he needed the desire to get there in front of the defender to force it home. And another unreal display. On the back of the display against Leicester a couple of weeks ago, and this display, he's playing out of his skin at the moment. If we can carry that on until for the whole of the second half of the season, he's going to have an absolutely barnstorming second half of the season.
And so are we.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to a brilliant display again.
Let's move over to the substitutes. First one, we're going to talk about Steven Bergwijn. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. And I was quite excited for Bergwijn to come on, because he's a player that you got to say is on form. He's been playing well. Obviously, the 2 goals against Leicester, the performance against West Ham, one of our better players against Chelsea as well. But I was a bit disappointed with Bergwijn when he came on. He saw quite a bit of the ball, and I just felt that, what's the word to say? I just don't think that he took the chances when he had the ball. I thought he was hesitant when he was on the ball, and wasn't really taking the ball down with much conviction. And I thought, definitely, obviously should have got that goal when Kulusevski squared it to him. But look, it wasn't an awful display like I'm kind of making it out, but I expected better from Bergwijn.
Yeah, and again, it was an opportunity for him with especially a lot of the space that was left by Brighton as they were throwing caution to the wind in the last 20 minutes. He had various opportunities on the counter to make it count. I think a few times he was actually in really good positions, and Kulu kind of played the ball the wrong side of him, and it slowed the attacks down. But as you say, Kulu did lay out on a plate for him just around the 12-yard mark, and he blazes it well over the bar when he should be doing a lot better. But there were a few moments where I thought he kept the ball really nicely on the left-hand side, little pieces of skill to retain possession and keep the ball away from Brighton. So all in all, I think he was okay. But yeah, he'll be disappointed he didn't get that goal.
Dejan Kulusevski making his debut. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. And it was really nice to see some new players on the pitch yesterday. In terms of Kulu, I mean, he was getting the ball an awful amount of times, yeah. And he did slow down a couple of counter-attacks, which was not great to see. His decision-making in the final third did seem good with his passing to Harry Kane, his passing to Steven Bergwijn, laying it on a plate for both of them, really. And yeah, just that. The thing is that everyone's laying into him for his pace, yesterday in the game, but I'm not going to put him down too much on that, because I felt like when he was on the ball, he actually showed a good turn of pace. It was actually when he was off the ball, his pace that was left wanting a few times. But there's definitely a lot more to come from Kulu. There's no need to rag on him just from a 20-minute performance, and I don't think he was great, but I just don't think he was awful. I think it was a good performance, and that was about it.
I think it was pretty decent. I think he'll be annoyed again that he didn't make the most of the opportunities that came towards him, because he had about 3 or 4 chances to really attack Brighton, and he only made most out of about 2 of them. But when he was in the final third, I thought he was pretty good. I thought his dribbling, cutting inside was dangerous. They struggled to really tackle him and stop the crossing or the shooting. Obviously, that pass to Bergwijn showed a lot of creativity when there are other passes available, and he did pick the right option. I think he was very hard-working coming into the centre of the pitch late in the game and making sure that we saw it out. And in terms of his pace, I've definitely seen Kulu, not especially in this game, but I've definitely seen him before have a turn of pace even off the ball. That shows me he can be rapid when he needs to be. So this whole thing, he's slow. He did slow the game down a bit, but I feel like he didn't use his pace rather than he is actually slow. So I wouldn't put him down to him being slow or why he didn't make the most of the space in front of him. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of him, and I think he did show some touches of quality and flashes of technical excellence, which I'm looking forward to seeing more in the Tottenham shirt.
All right, let's move over to Rodrigo Bentancur, another debut in the FA Cup yesterday. 7s all round from us, and I was really impressed with him yesterday. I mean, he only got 10 minutes, but in those 10 minutes, he really did impress. He was breaking up play in the middle of the park. He was passing the ball quite nicely as well, and there was that one, obviously, bit of skill on the edge of our area that got everyone up off their seats, which was really nice to see. I'm really excited for Bentancur. I mean, before this game, I was a lot more excited for Kulusevski than I was for Bentancur. But after seeing that from Bentancur yesterday, I'm actually so excited to see what's to come from him. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and he was able as well, a bit like as I was saying about Romero, like doesn't panic in tight situations. Is able to play the right pass or play a pass forward into space to find an attacker willing to transition into attack. And he was great at that. Definitely breaking up play was really good with some really crucial interceptions. And he had a little cameo. He was only 13 minutes, but he definitely put an impression on the pitch. And a little bit of skill around the penalty area shows he's not afraid to do what he thinks is the right thing in certain situations. So that means putting a little piece of skill on the edge of the box. He'll do it.
Yeah, and obviously got his yellow card as well, which apparently could be quite a constant fixture in our team. So we'll see what happens with that one. But the last sub that we're going to talk about is Joe Rodon. Came on the same time as Bentancur. He came on for the tired Christian Romero with also 10 minutes to go. And yeah, I mean, he slotted in there and just helped us see out the win, really.
Yeah, didn't have too much to do, did he, in the last 10 minutes? Headed a few things away and just made no mistakes.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Antonio Conte. 8s all round from us. And you can really see the team moulding into an Antonio Conte image at the moment. I mean, it's really good to see. There's a positive vibe around the place. There's a positive vibe within the team as well. And that is all down to Antonio Conte. It really is. the way the team are playing, the way we're going forward, the way we're defending, the structure that Antonio's brought to the team is absolutely brilliant to see. And I can't wait to move on in this season now. I really can't.
Yeah, you definitely see the more time we have on the training ground, the better we're getting. And every time we have a free week, it seems like at the end of that week we get
better.
Yeah, we get a really good performance out of it. And then obviously the bad performances in midweek, and it's like Chelsea and stuff, we struggle. But then, I think Liverpool, the game before Liverpool, we had a free week before that. And I think it goes to show how much his methods is translating into the players. I think it's not just the players, the fans as well. It's a really good vibe around the stadium and around kickoff. Pre-kickoff, everyone was feeling good. I thought the atmosphere was really great. And, a fifth round FA Cup tie against Brighton, maybe a year ago, the atmosphere would have been a bit dead. But now, with Conte at the helm, everyone seems to be behind the team and believing in what he's doing. And it's just for everyone, it's just for the board and the players to just match what Conte's giving, because he is really showing his managerial prowess to get us playing out how we are right now, dominating good teams like Brighton and swatting them aside. Really impressive. The way he's got Kane back to his best, the way he's improving every player in the squad. I can't remember a player who hasn't improved yet under Conte. So amazing stuff from him. And let's just hope he carries on to the second half of the season.
Yeah, literally the only players he hasn't improved are the players that went out the door, and that's telling, really, isn't it? So, that's our player ratings from a really good 3-1 win yesterday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the expense of Brighton. Let me know your player ratings in the comment section below and your comments on our player ratings. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.